upload Cantina Cast Patreon content.
We're back.
Hello, Patreon folk.
Patreon
back
folk.
For another episode.
Yeah.
And
oh goodness,
Jonesy's tired, so I'm just gonna tell you right now, like he's a trooper. This dude's like he just flew in. Was it like a couple hours ago?
Yeah, about. I think I landed like 5 or 6 hours ago, something like that.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, let's do a Patreon episode. He's like, oh, okay, sure, would love to.
Let's do it. Yeah.
No, he did do it. He said he would do it. So
Yeah.
No, I know he's tired.
And again, we want to get the 1 year later episode. That's a big thing for us. We like doing that. So do that and might as well throw another 30, 45 minutes, hour, 2 hours. We do this, man. For you. For all of you. Because we love you. Oh my gosh. We have a lot to show and tell, dude.
Well, I don't have a lot. You probably have a lot. I'll go first just to get it out of the way.
Yeah. Knock us out.
Okay, I'll give you my non-Star Wars stuff first.
The thing that people are always here for.
Right, yeah, here's all the crap that I bought that has nothing to do with Star Wars, which you're paying money to see. So these are my, I bought a collection of Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Oh, yes.
But they're the Dungeons and Dragons ones.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, Endless Quest. I read almost every one of these as a kid, and they go for a pretty penny.
How'd you read them? Did you read them start to finish, or do you actually bounce around and like make different choices?
So honestly, as a kid, I would cheat. Like I wanted to, have the best ending. So I would kind of, if it said if you want to do this, go to page 25. I would flip over to 25 and just look and say, if it says the end, I'm like, oh, not going there. Then I'd go back and do the other one. As I got older, like, 3 months later, I would, try to play out the stories or whatever. But yeah, those were really fun. But these guys are so expensive. They sell for about $20 a piece.
Holy, those are in great shape.
Oh, they're in amazing shape. And I found this little batch here was $20. Some person was just selling them and didn't realize what they had in their hand. So that was a great steal. I got my Tiamat, again, another Dungeons and Dragons thing, but I got my Tiamat pop thing.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that one before.
Yeah, I think I had a chance to show it, which is awesome. So
that's so cool.
I've now accepted the fact that I am a pop collector. So just put that out there.
Oh, okay. You finally come to terms with it.
Yeah, come to terms with that. I'm still not collecting comic books, and I don't collect pins.
We'll work on it.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Star Wars related. This is not my size, but this was on Facebook. I don't wear an extra large. It's going to be like a night shirt or something. But this was on Facebook, and it was one of those Funko Pop type T-shirt things. But it was $5, and I had a coupon for free shipping. So I mean, for $5, I mean, can't pass it up. And it looks cool because it's a VHS box set and all that. But this is the Empire Strikes Back T-shirt. So. I can't wait. I'm gonna unbox it and put that on as soon as I can. Yeah. And then I got two more things here. All right, so I did get this. Did you get this one?
Oh my goodness, no, I did not.
Yeah. So this is the Ben Harvey copy of the High Republic Adventures Annual.
Oh, I didn't even know. I've got 2 other High Republic annuals, but I didn't know that one was a thing.
Yeah, and it's like limited to 500 copies only.
And where's that from?
From that dude comics.
Books. Okay.
Yeah, comic books.
Oh, that's wicked.
It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I mean, it had Load and Great Storm in the background, plus with Ben and.
Now, did they have both the Virgin and the trade dress, or was it just the Virgin?
I don't remember honestly if they had both of them or not.
Okay. Yeah, I know some. Yeah, usually they have both, but there's some that only have a Virgin variant.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Oh, it's beautiful art, beautiful art. And it was again not cheap. I think this was like $60 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a 500 limited to 500 series. So
wow,
which I've not read. I've not read the annual yet. That's the only thing I haven't read from the comic book series. I don't know why. Have you had a chance to look at it?
No, I haven't. I've got it all in. I don't really get into annuals a whole that much.
Yeah, they're kind of like throwaways sometimes. But and then I did open your present. I didn't tell you, but thank you, Jonesy. So Jonesy sent me these copies of Star Wars Insider, which I collect, and I'm excited because they are the Mando father and son kind of issues, right? We've got both of them on there. So he knows me, and this was awesome. So thank you so much, man. I really appreciate this.
Very welcome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I saw one was a variant cover, I think, and I just couldn't pass it up.
And then the last thing I have, That's not really a Star Wars thing, but it is because I went out and just got this for myself. I bought the OLED version of the Nintendo Switch
Okay.
because
For hunters.
for hunters, yeah. Well, hunters, and they've got Knights of the Old Republic, which I mean, gosh, I've never played that game before.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly can't play it on iPad or something for 99 cents anymore.
Yeah. Well, I have the iPad
$6.
version.
Oh,
I've
okay.
played the iPad version already, but they have it on here for like $14.99.
Oh, it's already out?
Oh yeah. Well, they have. Yeah, it's been out.
Okay.
I was going to see if it still came up. I think it's already gone away. But yeah, they. I did see it on there. Now it's asking my password and all that. But there is the it's like $9.99 right now or $14.99 I think for the Switch version of the Knights of the Old Republic. They've only got part 1. I don't think they have part 2 just yet.
Okay. I thought you said Hunters was out.
No, not Hunters.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
no. Sorry.
So that's not okay. Cool. Yeah.
But that was in preparation of Hunters and the fact that I'll find yet another reason to play Knights of the Old Republic on my Switch. And
it's any different.
Yeah. No, this is really cool, man. The screen's huge compared to the other one, like the normal one.
Yeah. I pulled my original Switch out just recently, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Plus, there's a ton of games on there, like old. They've got a lot. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the collection of old school games that they've got. So I'm excited
and really, who can go wrong with Mario Kart? I'm sorry.
Well, they got they have what do you call it? Commandos. Republic Commandos is on there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'll play that. Jedi Knight. I think part 2. If I'm not mistaken.
Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, I think is on there. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna buy that. I mean, I can do the Steam versions of them and all that, but there's just something about being able to play, on the couch
wherever you're at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna relive all those classics that way. But anyways, that's all I got.
Okay.
What do you got?
So, you haven't got these yet. So we got a couple books in from Disney actually, and so I just wanted to share because they're very different for us. We don't usually.
Mine came in, by the way.
Oh, cool! Yeah, great. So for the little ones out there, World of Reading 2, Galaxy of Creatures. But what struck me about this one though is, I mean, it's kind of your typical young, learning to read type books, but the artwork on this is just really fun. It's just really fun and really cool. And so,
who did it? Who did it? Does it say?
Oh goodness,
it's not Jay Bartov, is it?
So it's written by Kristen Baver, and I don't see who the artist is.
I think it's Christine. Is it? Yeah, Kristen Baver. She's
yeah.
Isn't she the one that does the host on the Star Wars show? The new one? This week in Star Wars?
Maybe. I'm terrible with names. But you can just see the artwork here. And again, this is the same as I think, aren't there toys or something like along these lines or something? They've been doing something. Mm-hmm. So the artwork is just so much fun. And then the other thing that we got in was the junior novel for season 2 of The Mandalorian, which is very appropriate. And again, it's got some full color pages in there. So again, not something we haven't got a lot of young reader books, and especially lately, we've not really got much of anything. Of course, it's not a lot that's really come out. But we got those. Wanted to say thank you for those, and those are really cool. And know a couple of people that are going to get some kicks out of that. The really cool thing is, when I got home today, is that my wonderful, beautiful girlfriend got me this, and I know I don't have autofocus. I haven't got autofocus on my camera, but it's a red crystal, like kyber crystal, that go inside of your Galaxy's Edge lightsabers, or in your holocrons, and it paints it red. Now this one is this is from, oh goodness.
So that's the fascinating thing. You said that's not an official Disney one.
No, and that's the cool thing. Like all these people on Etsy and stuff sell these things. And so this is from, I think, a company called 1138legacy.com, and it's called the Ventress Slayer.
Why am I on there? I don't want to be on here.
I don't know. You're prettier.
No, I'm not.
But basically, it's Dooku's crystal. It's been cracked from Force lightning, but it's imbued with the memories of Asajj Ventress, which just sounds wicked awesome. Unfortunately, I have not figured out how to get Asajj to actually talk, because when I put it in my holocron, it's all Yoda talking about the dark side. So maybe I haven't got to enough of through enough of the dialogue, because again, I just got this when I got home, and then I realized my lightsaber was out of battery. So if you look around me, like my lightsaber is in like literally like 8 parts right now, all around me. So I could change the batteries out, because I never changed the batteries out. But it glows red now, which is what I always wanted. It's why there's a gap up here next to this one. But anyway, it's just super cool, and it just looks awesome. And what's really cool about Etsy is they have all of these containers that you can display. Like usually they come with like a little cap that you get from like the Disney ones, and you set it on top. But they have all these cool ones. So I may have to get some of that stuff. But anyway, it was just really cool. And I've got several other crystals too, but I've got my My white one here, which is Ahsoka's, and then the green one is actually Qui-Gon. So usually my lightsabers got green in it. My daughter's has blue in it, which is still up here, but the batteries are dead on that one. Okay, and then comics. I literally had 7 boxes of comics waiting for me when I got home. I will get through these really, really fast. I promise you. So this is a exclusive variant from Unknown Comics, and the reason why this was interesting is that it's got a first appearance of a villain in this series for Crimson Reign. So for those listening, Crimson Reign, of course, is the follow-up to War of the Bounty Hunter, and they released about a bajillion variant covers. And so so this is one of them. And actually, I got the 2-pack, which has also got the Virgin cover, which is really, really a lot of fun. And then quickly, I've just got a bunch of these other variants. They're just flashed on the screen here. So this one's really wicked, pretty cool. Knights of Ren, Knights of Ren with red. This is actually connected cover with Vader looking into his palm for whatever reason. I've got Jabba and the Merry Band, Crimson Reign, because they were such a big part of War of the Bounty Hunters. Now, this is what I was telling Albert before on air. This is probably my favorite of the covers, actually, of Vader with a Star Destroyer in the background, his lightsaber out. And actually, I've got another one of these. I only paid $5 for it. That's Charles Soule is actually autographed. So if you go out to midtowncomics.com and just search for Crimson Reign, you'll see some on there that say signed. And a lot of these variants you can get signed by Charles Soule, and literally they're $5.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The price is great.
Yeah,
I mean you're paying $5 for the comic already,
Oh, exactly. These are $4 comics.
Yep.
Oh no, yeah, these are $5 comics. You're literally not paying anything for the signature. So this is the direct edition. This is just the regular cover. I believe this is the incentive variant, which was more expensive than I want to admit. And then here's another one that was way more expensive than I want to admit, but you can't not have Kira on Sabak cards. Sabak. So that was again one of my favorite ones there. So anyway, this is not all of them. I have a floor full of High Republic too that I got in the mail too, including a bunch of new variants and things. And my brother texted me today and said, "Hey, I just got a Dark Horse Star Wars haul in. When do you want to come over?" And I'm like, "Oh crap." I was like, "Well, I could probably come over tomorrow, like Christmas Eve." And I mean, the problem is, like, what can I afford? He's like, "Oh, don't worry. I'll hold them for you." I'm like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Did you get them for me, or did you just?" I have a feeling, because I gave him my wish list, which was about 138 comics long, and most of them were Star Wars Dark Horse. And
shocker.
Yeah. So funny story. I know we're way off topic here, but funny story. Stephanie was looking for a Christmas gift for me. And so she just told me the story yesterday, the day before. And so she said, yeah, so I pinged your brother. I was like, "Hey, I want to give him a comic. You're reasonably priced," and something like that. His first response was, "Well, your boyfriend has really expensive taste."
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Which is absolutely on the money when it comes to this stuff. Cause a lot of those older comics, I mean, they've been out of print forever, of course. You just really cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pricey. Yeah. And what he was telling me is that a lot of these he's got as a set, like the 5-part miniseries or something like that. And so if you've got them as a set, they're worth a lot more than if you were to buy them individually. And so it's crazy because they're just that difficult to find. But there
Look
you go.
at that.
Cool.
Ash, Albert has gotten me into High Republic in the last week or so. He needs an applause. Thank you. No applause necessary.
That's fine. You weren't going to get it from me.
Yeah, no. The work speaks for itself.
I mean, you've been working on her for a while then, because I mean,
yeah,
it's taken a while. Well, by High Republic, what does that mean? Does that mean the just the books or the comics or
the comics? Yeah,
okay.
It's. I think she likes that whole aspect of Avar possibly turning dark.
Yeah. Yeah,
and there's like all the signs are indicating that something's going to happen there. I don't know if it's the case or not, but I mean that's intriguing in itself, right? I mean, regardless of who she is and what she looks like, the fact that you've got somebody like her, of that character, of that moral character and moral compass, and the light of the Jedi, and of all people, if she's one that can be turned, yeah. Jonesy's got it. Is that your background, or you got
no? This is the message I texted to Albert. I was like, "Hey, I think something's wrong with your girl."
Yeah.
And it doesn't come real clear on that one, but she's got like veins like all through her face, and just and she's starting to get to a pretty dark place.
Yeah.
So
she's trying to do too much. Oh, but anyways, it's been a good series. I think it's gotten better, to be honest. Yeah. I wish it would be more Avar than Keeve. Not that I hate Keeve, but it just Avar is the more intriguing piece for me. But
yeah.
Okay, so let's do what else we got. Oh, one other quick note. For anybody that's wondering, we've got our idea down for, I think for the most part, we've got our idea down for Celebration. So I think we're just waiting for the application to officially go up so we can submit that. Can't say a whole lot just yet. All I can say is it's going to be focused around the High Republic. So if you're a fan of the High Republic and Patreon member, you're getting the news first. But should we be selected, we will hopefully be talking about the High Republic on the podcaster stage, which would be really cool. And if not,
Yep.
I think if we don't get selected or for whatever reason, that's totally cool.
We'll set up our own damn stage.
Yeah, we'll do something where we get together. We'll figure all that out. That'll be a fun thing to do.
We've done it before. We did it in the lobby last year. We did a show, or last time we did a show in the lobby. Yeah, with our friends over at Target Stop Show.
Yep. So anyways, that'll be fun.
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's do the show. I don't have my dang notes in front of me. My dang notes. Where are they at? $3.95 for Patreon. Okay. So there's been 5 trailers. Okay, we were going to talk about the final hype. Originally, the show was going to be, hey, let's talk about all the footage we've seen and all the
all 6 scenes that we've seen in different cuts.
Right, different cuts, and talk about what we, do some predictions and all that. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot here. I know from people that get the screeners for television shows, they were told from Lucasfilm that they were not going to get screeners for the Book of Boba Fett. So that tells you the level of secrecy. And this is, pretty good kudos, right? Because if you think about it, we're like a week away, and there's been nothing in any of the spoiler contacts that I've got, those circles that I run around in, nothing there. You've got people that are very well established in the industry that normally will get screeners for everything telling me, I don't have anything, and they told us we're not getting anything, so I'm going in as blind as you are. So they've done a really good job of keeping everything under lock and key, although it doesn't really do well for us to do a show because, like Jonesy said, we've gotten the same images cut 8 different ways. I think in one of them, they finally reverted to just showing footage of him from Empire Strikes Back and saying, this is Boba Fett. So it's really difficult to kind of put a show together. So what I thought we could do is just kind of focus on some of the stuff that we have heard, some of the lines that have been said. There's one in there particularly, and the teasers have been called Rain, Message, The Return, Ready, and Authority. Again, all the same footage for the most part.
Yeah, really a lot of the same dialogue.
Yes, a lot of the same dialogue.
Yeah, couple.
There was a line in there where I think Fennec Sand says, "Can you trust him?" And he replies back, "I trust them to work in their own self-interests."
Right.
All right. So I think from that we can gather that Boba is going into this knowing he's going to be making enemies. He's probably going to have to make some alliances that he knows are probably going to aren't going to pan out, and they're probably going to backfire. Not backfire, but he expects them to fully turn on him at some point, right? These are just kind of temporary alliances that he's setting up. But this kind of speaks to the underworld in a lot of ways, and just how chaotic and unstable things are now that Jabba's gone and the Empire are both gone at this point.
Yeah, it's a power vacuum, and again, that it's not sorted itself after this many years shouldn't be surprising.
Yeah,
right. And we've seen that in the Mandalorian as well. It doesn't seem like there's these remnants and these pockets of whoever's established control based on regional type of things, but it's been very much in every person for themselves of what they want to do, and there's no one to organize them. And Boba sounds like he's got a lot of ambition, and it's kind of curious to understand where that ambition is coming from, because I never really struck him or his dad dead as you call me dead, I call you son. I sorry, I just love that line.
Dead.
Call you dead. Anyway, but neither one of them were really just a simple man making their way through the galaxy, right? Just like we heard in the Mando as well as in episode 2. It never really struck me as just someone who wanted to go and rule, right? Or to run an organization or lead. It just never really occurred to me that was something that they wanted. Is that something that does that seem out of character, I guess? Or does that seem to align with him?
It's so funny you bring this up, because honestly, before, and we've not had, this is literally this Patreon show came together within 2 minutes. And I have not had a chance to talk to Jonesy about anything, but one of the things
this was basically a text at 8:00. Hey, we did it.
Yeah, it was. But one of the things that's been on my mind is, we're just taking it at face value that, he's going to be the next crime lord. But with you, after I sat down and started thinking about it, I thought, well, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
there's no basis. Even if you go back to like Legends and stuff, this wasn't really his thing, right? He wasn't out there trying to build an empire. And he wasn't necessarily, he was just kind of his own guy doing his own thing, right? Like you said, trying to make an honest living in the galaxy or whatever. So part of me thinks that either this is just who he is and he definitely wants to do this, or he's got some other kind of motive here, right? This is the first step in something, a bigger kind of journey that he wants, or some goal, or he's got some other ambitions there that we're just not aware of at this point. Maybe it comes up to this season, maybe towards the very end or whatever. But it does feel a little uncharacteristic of somebody like Boba Fett to do this. The only thing that I could say they could probably pin it back down onto is the fact that, well, Jabba's gone and he was a slave to Jabba in some regards. We'll get to that here in a little bit. He's been betrayed by what's his face, the one that killed in cold blood, Bib Fortuna.
Right.
Right. He was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine, and so that maybe this is a rebirth of his character, and he's got new goals and doesn't want to ever live like that again. I mean, there's ways they could explain all this, and I'd just take it at face value and go, okay, cool, that's fine, whatever. But it does feel a little weird. So
yeah, I like the character though. I mean, I like the idea though that he's kind of had enough, right? And it's like, okay, things are never going to change in the way that they are right now. It's not working for anyone, and maybe he's just seen that the dynamics aren't going to work, and they're not profitable either. So no one can really benefit from what's going on, and it's just complete chaos. And so maybe he just sees that this is the way, so to speak, of being able to remedy that problem and be able to actually make a way forward. And at least with Jabba, there was some sense of, I don't know what the right word is, but there was some sense of cohesiveness to it all.
Mm-hmm.
There was a power structure. There was a hierarchy.
There was stableness. I mean, I might agree with it, but it was stable. It was predictable, right? To some extent.
And again, we hear this in the trailer, right? He intends, Jabba rule with fear, and he wants to do it with respect. And to an extent, I kind of get that. But Fennec Shand is what I love is like Fennec has got this counterman to it. She's almost he's almost the idealistic one of sorts in these trailers, is how they put it. And I know in Ash said in the chat that these are all probably from the first episode, and that's I absolutely agree with that.
I think it was confirmed, by the way, from
Okay.
Robert Rodriguez, that we've only seen the first like 20-30 minutes of the episode so far.
Yeah, that's usually pretty typical, right? If you get the first couple of episodes, that's usually pretty rare, but usually most of it's the first one, and that we've only seen the same scenes and the same dialogue over and over and over, really lends a lot of credibility to that anyway. But if we didn't have that confirmation, but I think it's one of these things of, he's almost the idealist, whereas Fennec Shand's like, fear has its place too.
Yeah.
Right. You can't, with what they do. It's like, I was watching Hawkeye, right? And of course, I don't want to do spoilers because it's still soon, but anyway, there was a person that came into that one, and that's how they rule it, is with an iron fist, and yeah, you can do it with respect, but if someone's going to, throw that in your face, or they're going to, act out, then the way that type of business works is you have to show force. At least that's what they believe, at the very least. I'm not saying this is my belief, but they believe that there's consequences, and that's how the underworld typically works, right? For better or worse. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting hearing Boba Fett become the idealist.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Because he's always been practical.
Yeah, he's been pragmatic in his approach, right?
Exactly.
Shoot it with a bigger gun if he needs to.
Right. Yeah.
There's
shoot its legs off if I need to.
That's cool. No, I'm glad you brought up that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just saying. Sorry, boss. He blew his legs off.
Oh, yeah, they'll grow back. I'm glad you brought up that fear, because I did have it in here, that quote in one of these little teaser trailers. It says, Jabba ruled with fear, I tend to rule with respect. We've heard that before. And what she says in return is, in difficult times, fear is a sure bet.
Yeah.
Right? She's almost advocating that, hey, maybe you have to do both. And so that'd be kind of cool that we do see that dynamic. I hate to think that he would rule out fear, but at the same time, I can see him sticking to his guns and saying no. Even though she's saying that in his ear, he's still going to move forward with his plan, because he knows that's going to, pay off bigger for him than going back to old ways and being the next Jabba, which I don't think he wants to do.
Right. And again, we don't know if the dialogue is spliced together in the way it's supposed to, because we also hear that they'll be ready, right? And so I think he's not the idealist 100%, right? He's still very much a realist of saying, okay, I don't trust these people to act out of character. It's almost like Han Solo, right? Han Solo's like, I don't trust Lando. He's my best friend, but I still don't trust him. You still got to take people for what they are. And again, they only they only act in their own self-interest. But at the same time, I think he's trying to at least fill that power vacuum and like stabilize it and say, look, we have something we can all benefit from.
Yeah.
But we got to quit cutting each other off at the knees and slicing each other's throats because it's just not working.
Yeah, this is not a long-term sustainable plan. Boba is implementing speak softly and carry a big stick. Yeah, that's the Teddy Roosevelt way in history. Okay, so some of the other lines that came up, you get that one creepy guy. This was new footage for us, I think, recently. It's now been regurgitated in a couple of episodes, or scenes. But this guy kind of comes in. He looks like an emissary of some sort, and he says, "I bear the mayor's heartfelt welcome." And then Boba says, "Keep an eye on that one." And then Fennec responds back, "I keep an eye on everyone," which is really good. I like their dynamic. That she seems to be, she is the hired gun. She's basically the Boba Fett of Boba Fett when he was working for Jabba, right? Which is kind of cool. Yeah, but yeah, and the way I saw that is, you think back to the trailer, and we had that, was it the Thorian that we said was some kind of a ruler of some sort. Now I'm almost, to me, that is the mayor, and this was who he sent to kind of make peace. And, if he knows that crime lord, that Boba Fett is now taking the place of Jabba and has filled that void, it sounds like that mayor may be corrupt as well, right? Like he's okay with, offering a peace, olive branch or whatever, trying to ally with Boba Fett. So it sounds like there's, things aren't really clean.
Yeah. Now refresh my memory. That scene, is that in the palace to where they're on Tatooine, or are they?
Yeah, it looks like it's in Jabba's palace where he comes in. He kind of does a bow. He's a Twi'lek, and he bows and he says that I bear the mayor's heartfelt welcome. And he seems like a used car salesman, right? Like slimy.
Oh yeah, I mean, total politician.
Yep. Let's see. And I think the only other one that caught my eye, whatever, is where Fennec Sand she says it, and they're kind of showing like, we've seen the scenes where they're in the streets and those red shields go up and they look like they've got Fennec Shan and Boba Fett surrounded.
Right.
And then they kind of cut away from that, and you hear this dialogue. It says, "These are just the first wave. They're going to war." Yeah. And then Boba Fett responds back, "Then we will be ready." And so I don't know if this is, again, it's in the first episode, so maybe this is something they're going to lead up to, this kind of big war at the very end of them trying to take back the power that Boba now has, or maybe it's in the first couple of episodes that we get this, but it sounds like there are definitely other opposing forces, and as rightfully so, when we talked about the guys in those red armor or the red outfits, you probably have like the people like the mayor. You probably got other bounty hunters. I mean, everybody's probably vying for power here, so it's going to be really Boba Fett trying to navigate all of these different opposing forces and establishing himself as the new ruler. So I don't know if that leads to the finale of a war. How would you feel about that if at the very end it's literally a war, a siege on that town, on the siege of Tatooine? Maybe we get something like that.
Who the hell would want to seize Tatooine?
I don't know. Get off that planet. I don't understand why everybody's there. Get off.
Maybe they're finally going to get rid of it once and for all. Oh no, because it survives.
No, it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there forever. I want to hear the motivation. Like, I want to hear what is behind all of this, because it's one thing to have a war and to start an underworld type of war and conflict, but what is the driver? Again, is he just tired of getting crapped on and tired of, getting interfered with from other ones? I mean, because the guild wasn't really particularly good at this stuff either at times, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
So, I mean, what is he actually trying to accomplish? Or is he just tired of being the middleman and just wants to be the top dog? And so, again, those are all the things that will answer some of the questions like what you're posing like later on. And if we were to lead it into an all-out war and that was the end of season 1 and we were going to have a season 2, I'm fine with that. I mean, we want a good story, right? It has to mean something in the grand scheme of things. And I think that's the part that I just don't. I wish I knew what is actually all of this leading to. And I think we've really got to understand where Boba Fett has been for the last few years.
Yeah.
What has his experience been? And I'm really curious. We get that shot of him in the back to tank, right? And he's got the mouthpiece. I'm really wondering if we're going to get some flashbacks. It seems almost like a guarantee we're going to get flashbacks, kind of like what we did with Din Djarin. in the first season with the Mandalorian, when he was getting rescued from the battle droids and all of that. I have a feeling we're going to get something similar to that respect that'll help fill in the gaps.
And I'd be fine
seems
with
almost
that.
certainty, right?
Yeah, I know when season 1 of The Mandalorian came out, we were kind of talking about, well, is that really Star Wars? Is Star Wars really about flashbacks? Because it was so weird that we've never had them. But, I think it's fine. I think they did a good job with those. So I would not be opposed to having the flashbacks. In fact, I would prefer to have the flashbacks because him talking about it is certainly going to be powerful. But actually witnessing, him fighting his way out of the Sarlacc pit and then getting discovered by sand people.
Would be something.
Oh, dude, it'd be so cool to see that, right?
Because
in our heads, we've always had that story. We mentally know what that looks like in our own headcanon, in our own minds, but to actually see the visualization,
right? And then why is he out of the armor? How did the Jawas get it? And I don't know if we're ever going to get the question, because we didn't talk about this in the main show, but he knew Cobb Vanth had the armor. How long did he know, and why didn't he do anything about it?
Yeah. So
I mean, those are the things that don't make, like, there's some disconnects in some of that. There of how much did he know and when did he know it? But yeah, I think we got to know some of that stuff. And I'm with you. I love the way that Tamara Morrison approaches this character, and the dialogue is usually written, and he's very succinct with his word choice, and you don't really get a whole lot. And I think that's great from a flashback storytelling. You get a little bit, but maybe you don't get all of it all at once, and you get a little bit more throughout the season. I think that's a pretty cool approach, but being able to see visually some of that would be something else. And now that we've seen a crate dragon, and we know a crate dragon's eating a Sarlacc, I mean, it kind of seems like anything's possible at this point with what they've shown us on screen.
Yeah, so they got the means of doing it. So
yeah. I mean, that would be something. That would be something.
Okay, so with I'll do like a speed round kind of thing because I don't want to keep you up any later than we have to. But let's talk about quickly on Slave One. There was the Crimson Rain comics, I think, or was it Crimson Rain or Crimson Dawn, whatever it was. One of the series, they had done a publication, and they had listed out all of the bounty hunters that were going to be part of the War of Bounty Hunters series, and they listed their ships next to them. So, for example, we had Bosk and the Houndstooth, IG-88 and IG-2000, Zuckuss and the Mist Hunter, et cetera, et cetera. And they specifically listed Boba Fett with the fire spray in a proper noun, so it's capital F, fire spray. And I know a lot of people were like, okay, well, the ship is going to be renamed, and they're doing this for, PC type things and all that. I don't really want to get into any of that stuff because at the bottom, at the end of the day, for me, the name Slave One for Boba Fett, and I'm not talking about Legends, because Legends, I think they try to kind of explain this, but I don't really have a problem with him changing the name, and here's why. Because if I'm Boba Fett, and I have lived in the shadow of people my entire life, and he was there. If you go to Legends and you even some of the canon stuff, right? The way he almost was treated like a slave to Jabba the Hutt or to the Empire, right? He was just hired to do these things, and that's part of his character. I get all that, but if he had a ship named Slave One, and he really wanted to break away from that old himself, I'm no longer this. I'm not a slave to anybody. I am now in charge. It seems like they could use that as a way to write off him renaming his ship altogether and saying, yeah, that doesn't really represent who I am anyways, right? There's 10 other better names that I could do. And now, it was Fire Spray, the better name. I disagree, but because it's the model of the ship, right? I mean, that's
it's like it's like the Razor Crest, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I guess so all that's kind of my thoughts. But I mean, I guess the question is, are we going to hear him refer to the ship as the Fire Spray, or are we going to even get that story? Is it such a big deal that we're going to get that story? Do you think it's just going to be a comment, they brush it off and keep on going with whatever other narrative they're trying to tell?
I doubt we get any kind of reference to it at all. I mean, we heard Fennec call it just the ship, get back to your ship, that type of thing. I think that's just what it's going to be. I don't know that there's any reason to bring it up. Slave One was never really mentioned in the original trilogy either, right?
No, it was a
toy name. Yeah, it was a toy name. So again, we've gotten this far without naming the ship, like in from a visual canon perspective, on screen. So why? I don't know that it's necessary these days, and I kind of don't care. I mean,
I do agree there. I'm like, I don't really give a crap,
but there's also the other side of the coin. I see what you're saying. He wants to kind of cast off the shackles. There's other media, like
Sorry, I had to restore order. Like, it was bothering me. Like,
I was wondering, man, it's 35 minutes and you still let this stuff go on. I was like, man,
Sorry.
this is a new day.
I just swapped the screens because Jonesy's usually on my right and I'm on the left, and the order of the galaxy was completely thrown in chaos because it wasn't like that. But it's been restored. But go on, please.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it with respect, not fear. I'm already afraid of you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But I mean, there's of course, I'm a huge World of Warcraft fan, and so and Thrall is my favorite character in World of Warcraft. And Thrall means slave, and so and there's a whole storyline of how he was enslaved and things like that. And so it's one thing. He doesn't change his name though, but it was just one of those things of some people wear that title or that thing to remind themselves about where they have been and what they've come from, so they don't lose sight of that as they progress through life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always one of those types of things too. You can say, well, I don't want to change it because of that reason, right? Now, and we don't know what the meaning of Slave One really is anyway, even back to Django's days, right? Because the ship was already named back with Django. So what, if you don't know the meaning of the ship, how can it have a whole lot of meaning to you from a character, like from us as a fan, except from what we grew up with? But from a storytelling aspect, there's nothing that really should limit us to having it called whatever, or finding out that it was named something else. Because from a canon standpoint, there's nothing there, and from a movies and TV standpoint, there's really nothing there. So
I don't disagree. Like, I so don't care. Like, I know I brought it up, and I think it's worth noting because it's come up. But at the end of the day, like, what impact does this have other than somebody's childhood because they had the toy called Slave One? They can't call it. It's so ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, just call it whatever the hell you want, and let's make it part of the story. Let's get on with the story, if you will.
Now, I get it though, from an extent. Like, why do we have to change things that are already established? And does it mean the things that might get correlated to it? And should you change? Should you adapt to the times and things like that? Right. We see this. We see a lot of this too, like the Washington football team, right? They used to be called the Redskins, and now there's some other teams that might be wanting to change their names. And so you have these things about doing the right thing. I think, especially if you have something that's clearly offensive, and it has been for a long time, and we could try to explain it. Well, it's always been this way, and so on and so forth. But it's still the right thing to do, even if it's really difficult to let go of that legacy. And this one, I don't know that I have as much of that. I understand it can be a very sensitive word. I don't know that it has any direct correlation with any of that type of thing, like the football team's names do.
It doesn't. No, and
right?
No.
But again, I also, it's important to keep up with the times. And again, I don't have any. It's what I grew up with. I will probably always call it Slave One because calling it Fire Spray seems too generic for me. But I just don't care.
I honestly, I don't believe that Disney is doing this for political reasons. I really don't. Because if you think about it, I mean, they're not going to go redo the telling of Anakin Skywalker being a slave. You know what I mean? They're not going to go back. I mean, slavery is a huge thing going on in the galaxy, and Star Wars has done a really good job.
Thing in our real world right now.
Sure, yeah, no, I get that.
I'm just saying, it's a thing. It will not go away.
Right,
and it's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing we've always seen in Star Wars. It's a lot of things are based on of that. What the galaxy and the I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just the nature of when do the Jedi and their involvement in slavery and their lack of willingness to get involved with it.
Yeah, but they enslave kids. But that's another story.
No, they steal them.
Sorry,
but they don't enslave them. They give them a choice to do what they want them to do.
Sure. No, but the only thing I was going to kind of end on is that I think Disney has done, or Disney, Lucasfilm first, and then Disney, they've done a good job of saying slavery exists, and guess what? It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's out there in the galaxy, and they look at the Ahsoka novel, you look at any of the stories, I mean, name it, right? This is a kind of staple of what's going on, even all the way up until The Last Jedi, right? With the kids and what they were going through. So they've done a good job of making this a bad thing. So I don't, and for that, I don't think they're changing this because it's they're doing a political thing. They're just saying that it does exist. Anakin was a slave. There's slavery going on. It's a horrible thing. But for somebody like Boba Fett, does it make sense that he would name his ship Slave One? And I just don't think. There you go. Clones are slaves, according to one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't think that's where it's coming from. So I think it's kind of a much ado about nothing, and we probably spent way too much time on it already. So
Yeah.
all right.
Thanks,
So
thanks for that.
yeah, no, right. Okay. So we'll make this.
So it says his Patreon. I laugh sometimes. I love Albert to death, and but he'll bring up these topics. And you guys, if you've been around for a while, you know, so he'll bring up a topic, and I don't really want to spend any time on this, but
40 minutes later,
we have this topic, and I don't know that I really care too much about it, but yeah, we will go on
50 minutes later,
15, 20 minutes about it. And well, I don't know that I really care. We spent too much time. Like,
yeah.
what you bring the question up?
If you come out to Celebration this year, join me. We'll have something, and we can just sit down and talk, and you'll get to have the full effect of
That's right. You will
me jumping around all kinds of things.
You will never have a better night's sleep than listen every time.
Okay, so here, shut up. All right, so let's do I want to do the cameos. So we can talk about, I want to talk about like cameos that you think we'll get in the season, the Book of Boba Fett, and then you can tell me if you think they're gonna die, as well. Okay.
All right.
So Din Djarin, Mando, are we gonna get him in this season or this
yes, but
series?
I think he's gonna live.
Okay, that's pretty bold, but you'll note it. Okay,
yeah, bold move, Cotton.
Peli Motto.
Oh my God, I hope not.
Okay, will she die though? If she does show up,
no,
she won't die. I hope her perm dies. Okay, how about Cobb Vanth? Cobb Vanth, are we going to get
Cobb Vanth? Is an interesting one actually, because there seems to be some connection, but I'm going to go with no. But he will be in The Mandalorian season 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can see a Cobb Vanth coming back, and you know, if Boba is trying to establish himself and he's trying to kind of weed out some of the bad apples, and those bad apples are kind of infringing on what's going on over at was it Fredonia? What's the name of that?
Freetown in the books, but it's Mos Pelgo.
Pelgo, yeah. Freetown is what sticks in my head, but but you know, if they've got a mutual bad apple that they're trying to get rid of, I can see where Cobb Vanth's like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out, man. I need some armor, or you know, you got to equip me with something here. But I mean, they have that, they've got that the relationship, I guess. Well, not necessarily, but
I don't think
they don't have a relationship. They don't. Sorry, no, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, so that's why I don't know if it makes too much sense, and they're kind of out there on the fringe on their own.
True. It would be cool to see him though. Any of the bounty hunters? I wasn't going to list them all out, but
you know, I really hope so. I really hope we get Bosk.
Bosk is the one I want.
Yeah, I love Bosk. I don't know why.
Yep.
Cad Bane. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Yeah, he's on my list. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Damn it, Chris. Yeah. Gosh, what'd you say? Yeah, Bosk. Yeah, I hope Bosk is. Man, I really hope we get some Dengar action.
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
They said no one ever, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see him unwrapped. How about that? What does that look like? Okay, how about Omega?
Omega.
Are we going to see Omega?
That's a really interesting one. Within the context of what we know about the show, it doesn't seem likely. But it's hard to say no, not entirely, like a 0% chance, though.
I would say in the series, yes. In the season, no. It seems like it's too quick.
I don't think
it's too much to pack into 8 episodes or 6 episodes or whatever the heck it is. 8? I don't know. I can't remember how much.
I can't remember how many it is either. Yeah, I agree with you. I think if this is really about organizing the underworld, and again, it's hard to tell with what we have. We have so little.
Right, we have so little.
But I think when we get to episode 2 or 3, I think we'll have a much better idea, though, about where it's going and to see if something like that is even plausible. So we should have a good idea come about mid-January or so. Stay tuned.
Look at this. Chef Chris, why are you doing this?
Maz. That's actually great. She's my favorite bounty hunter.
Yes, she's going to show up, and yes, she will die.
No, because she's in Rise of Skywalker.
That doesn't mean she's
going to get some sweet she's going to get some sweet Wookiee love.
Oh my gosh.
Where's my boyfriend? This is where you're going to get the backstory of all that.
I can't wait. I really can't. This is going to be amazing.
It'll be awesome.
Okay, how about Bo-Katan?
No, I don't think that makes sense.
More Mando?
More Mando, yeah. Again, it was more totally different objectives. They don't have any really reason to cross paths.
Okay, the next two have been making the rumor mill lately. And I know we don't do a lot of rumors here, but they have come up quite a bit. Han Solo.
That would be That would be good. That would be nice. Him or Lando. That would be good. But again, you have to recast at that point.
Yeah.
And
And does he fit into this story?
Again, yeah. I think we're where you're at with the New Republic and all of that. I don't know that we've got the books of where Han Solo's at. So then you start to weave all of that within all of, where that series is at. And I just don't think we've already kind of crossed that path once.
He's got a bone to pick with Han Solo, though, right?
Does he really, though?
I mean, I guess he doesn't know that.
I mean, I guess
he knocked him into the pit or knocked him into his jetpack, and
it was his faulty jetpack, but whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that on the regular show either. If that was a good or a bad or ugly thing.
Yeah, where he just pats him on the backpack or the jetpack and shoots him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cheap shot.
It was.
Okay, here's the other one that now this one came from somebody that again is pretty credible, but said that we would see Grogu in the book of Boba Fett. First off, is how it was presented, and that not only we would see Grogu, but that we possibly would see somebody else with Grogu, and that led everybody to believe would have to be Luke because Luke is taking care of him. I cannot, again, not confirmed. Somebody that normally gets inside scoops and stuff like that. They weren't coming out and saying 100% this is the case. It was one of these, and they word these very interestingly out there. They said this is from what I heard is this right, or
right.
I hear that this could possibly be happened.
They call that plausible deniability.
Exactly, yep. That's exactly what it is. So take it with a grain of salt. But I
will.
I can't see how they fit in.
Yeah, 0. Yeah,
I don't either.
I think it's 0. Yeah.
I got a lot of people excited, of course, but I just can't put that in.
Definitely gets you a lot of buzz for absolutely no payoff. But again, if it's contrary in the underworld, then you have to say, okay, is a character like Kira on the table? That's a question to you. It wasn't rhetorical.
I think it is only if we get to the very end of this particular season, and he's now established himself as like the ruler of Tatooine or a specific sect of, maybe he's got his own group, right? That's why I'm always curious what he's going to call this group of thugs or underground, whatever he's going to call himself, right?
Yeah.
But if at some point now he establishes his team as a threat, then where are his sights? Does he want to then reach out to some of the other groups like the Pikes and is there a scene where they've all kind of come together and they now are planning some next step of, I don't know, taking back Coruscant or organizing at a higher level of some sort, right? Then maybe we do get like a video image of Kira and all the other heads of these other groups, these different thugs and underground groups coming together and having this kind of big meeting or whatever. I'm again speculating, making crap up, but
yeah,
not. I don't think she's going to be a character that he's in contact with. It's going to be a cameo and a reference at best.
Well, and I think the thing is, you got the Crimson Reign comics that are going to be right in the middle of all of that too. And I don't know, it'd be interesting how much crossover they would do simultaneously if it's really that well planned out to where they would cross between comics and the TV show. That's a bit of a stretch in normal circumstances. So I'm not totally sure I'm sold on that one. Yeah. But again, another character like Dr. Aphra Dr. Aphra might have an opportunity to have her first appearance on screen.
That would be really cool. Again,
and I think she's one of those people that gets herself in some
really crazy stuff. Yeah.
And some trouble. And she's already crossed paths with Boba once in the comics, and so that's one way to kind of bridge that world too.
Yep.
But yeah, that would be an interesting one.
I didn't have her on the list, but I'm glad you brought her up because that would be interesting. Okay, the last one I had on here before we call it is Cad Bane.
Yeah, that would be something. Yeah, make enough noise where it gets Cad Bane's attention.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun.
It seems like he would be the one, like you said, after Boba Fett establishes himself. We get similar to what we got with like the end of the first episode on season 2 of The Mandalorian, where we get that the Boba Fett churning away. You know what I mean? And we get to see him. Yeah. We're like, holy crap, he's coming. He's here in the season. Same kind of thing. Where at the very end we get maybe a Cad Bane or just a figure with that iconic hat. And we see it's not a Mun. What is he? His race.
Duros.
We see a Duros with a cap, or maybe he's got the little toothpick thing in his mouth. Whatever it is, right? We get that shot, and that kind of sets up something like he's going to be a an opposing threat or a thorn in his side going into maybe season 2 if they decide to go that route, or pick
Right.
that up somewhere in some Crimson Reign series, or I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it'd be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing him.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Are we talking about Watto now?
What's wrong with
Look at
Jar Jar
this.
Binks? Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Watto, Jar Jar Binks. Oh, the Martez sisters.
Yeah, that one's a decent one at least. So yeah, so go back to Omega real quick. So I guess it's kind of begs the question of if there's Omega, is there a potential for a Bad Batch being on screen then? Or is that just too much crossover and too much in-story development on the Bad Batch season 2?
Yeah,
and again, we're very far removed from those stories, because this is around 25 to 30 years after the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it would be one of these things where you see them and they don't look like they did from the Bad Batch, or maybe they do just slightly or whatever. But
right. They all look like Rex.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we were all on Endor. It was a great party.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
I don't know. I can't see them.
Yeah. And again, I think this is the point where
we end the show.
There's too much crossover in the things you have. It just starts to feel muddled and
too connected.
And claustrophobic almost, right? It's just like you got to keep up with everything that's all going on at the same time, rather than just being able to have someone float in and out, which is something they did fairly well, with the Mandalorian. That characters kind of come and go, and maybe they'd come back, another day, or like in the second season, and that formula worked pretty well. And I think Boba and Fennec Shand have enough on their hands right now. But I think the other bounty hunters make a lot of sense. Those always make a lot of sense.
Yep, I think it's possible because they may want the same thing he does, and they know they've got a relationship with him, and some of them could try to ally with him, some could be going against him, and
Okay, what about Valance?
Oh, that would be that
they've got a thing.
They do, but I'm worried that unless you're following the comics.
But no one knew what Cobb Vanth was.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
that's so hard.
I think that one's a possible thing. I think
he's got to have some antagonist, right? He's got to have an antagonist of some sort. And right now, it's very easy to say, okay, we've seen the first 20 minutes, and it looks like it's everybody, but there's got to be somebody in particular. I don't think it's just everyone. And so why not introduce somebody like him, right?
Right.
That seems like a more logical choice than bringing in somebody like a Cobb Vanth, or not a Cobb Vanth, a Cad Bane, right? Or the bounty hunters. I think those would probably be kind of interesting, but they do have to. To me, it feels like they are going to have to establish somebody as his antagonist, somebody he's going to have to, the opposing force, someone he's going to have to go up against, and why not him? I mean, they've done a good job of setting that up already.
Yeah, and the thing I like about Cad Bane is the idea that Boba and Fennec achieve everything they want to achieve at the very end, and then, like you said, Cad Bane sees it, and he's like, "I've got a bone to pick with this guy." And then it's a personal vendetta. So you kind of build up the empire you want, but now you're targeted at an individual level and a very personal type of level. And so I think that's the part where that could be interesting. I really like your idea about that being kind of the cliffhanger cameo, end credit scene, whatever you want to call it, to where that type of thing is there. But I think Valance, I think that could be a legit one, him in like a Bosk type of character. And I think that would be introducing an visually interesting character, or multiple visually interesting characters. But we've got a lot of Trandoshans now. So I don't know if Bosk really, I wonder if Bosk would get lost in the shuffle with all the Trandoshans we have, But again, maybe it's all the more reason for him to show up, because maybe he's gone back to his people because the guild is a mess.
Yeah. And maybe I'm secretly wanting Bosk because of Skier. I think that's where it's coming from. Skier. Okay. I think we've bottomed this show out, because now I'm seeing Red Arm, C-3PO.
Yeah. People are getting delirious.
They're delirious and tired.
Yeah.
Although that guy he doesn't sleep though.
Yeah. Beckett dropped over saying, off of cliff or whatever it was, the building.
Oh yeah. We get that reference.
Yeah. But hey, maybe we'll see the full droid that's all red that ended up getting from C-3PO, or getting C-3PO.
No, can't wait.
Otherwise, you have to get the comic to actually get the full story, which I never did. I won't give it to that kind of crap. No, thank you.
Okay.
You
got
would,
anything
though.
else? I would. You should.
No.
It's not.
No, this is fun again. And what's funny is we have the first 20 minutes of the episode, but really it's literally like 3 minutes of footage at most. So
which is why we didn't do a general release show, but because you're paying us, we felt it was okay to talk about this.
Right. Yeah, we'll give you our nonsense.
It makes no sense, but
we'll show you all the senseless money we spend sometimes.
We're okay putting ourselves out there for you guys, but
that's right. We spend it so you don't have to.
We've got an image to keep here. Okay. All right. Anything else before we go?
No, I think that's it. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for coming out. We know it's a short notice. I'm really enjoying this interactive Patreon type of live stream though. So I hope we are able to keep these things going. These are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
Not everybody shows up, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But again, it's late. It's 1 a.m. on the East Coast now. So it's a late night. But yeah, Lauren, Ash, Twan. I know we probably have a few people. Chef Chris was with us there for a little while. So I know we've probably got a few people there lurking in the background too. So thank you so much for showing up and interacting with us. And of course, appreciate all y'all support. Y'all are fantastic.
Yes.
And yeah, Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Now Christmas Eve on 2 of the 3 coasts.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
And there are 3 coasts in the United States.
1, 2. Oh yeah, you're right. There are 3.
Yeah, we're our own coast, brother. Gulf Coast.
Okay. Where are my credits? Okay, that's it.
Wait, are the credits updated?
Yeah, more or less. I don't know. Yeah, sure. They are. They are. You'll find out.
Right. All right. Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.